Hello fellow tube surfers, this is Bubba Drew, and today I am in Car Chase Simulator again, which usually means that I'm here to do something of a commentary type video. Which this video is going to be. I'm not uploading as much this week just because I'm kind of winding down after finishing that BeamNG short that I worked on, the Goose Chase, as it's called. And I'm really happy that people are seeing it, because that is one that I put a lot of work into. There's a car that passed by, my door's open. I also posted it on the BeamNG subreddit, and people seem to like it there as well. So, to all who have stopped to see that video, thank you very much. It means that my work's paid off. Fortunately, that also means that I need to wind down a little bit, but I decided to put one video out there at least to get the message out to all of you guys. Also, I've been considering how I'm going to be doing this car series that I've been talking about, which, interestingly enough, was also in a Car Chase Simulator video that I talked about. It's really all about trying to get the cameras set up, trying to find the perfect day to do it, all that kind of stuff, because I got plenty of time, and I got the resources to do it. It's just a matter of putting all the pieces together. But yeah, that's sort of a small update on that situation. It will be done, I can guarantee that. The other part of the video, is actually something rather amusing. It was a full day of interesting happenings. It started out pretty mundane. I woke up about 8 o'clock, which is about how much I sleep in when it's a weekend. And then I realized that I'm going to be having my friend over, a friend of mine who lives locally. So I call him, let him know that, okay, I'm going to be out and about for a little bit. Going to get groceries for me and him, as well as a few personal items. More frivolous, but, what's life without a little frivolosity? It's not even a word. But anyways, so I go to the store. I also get lunch at the store. Then I also go to recycle. Actually, I think I recycled before I went to the store. Things are kind of jumbled up. This is where things started to get interesting. So I go to recycle, I separate all the paper from the cardboard, and I separate the plastic from the metals and all that kind of stuff, because they all go in special bins dedicated to each other. Then I get to the plastics bin, and this is where things get interesting. All I had left in the plastic tub that I have is just plastic. Plastic in a plastic tub, that makes sense. So yeah, I dump that in fairly easy. I go to put the tub in the car, which I do successfully, but then... then a big-ass horsefly flies in the car, or deer fly, or some sort of large stinging/biting insect goes into my car. Now, I don't know if I've addressed this properly before, but I am deathly afraid of those kind of insects. I do not like them. They look weird. They fly weird, they're noisy. So whenever you hear the sound of the or whatever sound they make, it kind of makes me angsty. And with this one, you could hear it as it was in the car. It was kind of banging around. Well, not banging around, it's just sort of ting, ting, ting around, and you can hear just this faint buzz. And every time I tried to lure it out of the car, it would just fly further into the car. And all my attempts to try and get it out were just futile. And it's already futile enough, because I hate horseflies. I absolutely hate them. And here I am for 15 minutes. Just trying to figure out how to get this thing out of my car so I can drive and go home. Because I definitely don't want to drive down the road with that in the car. That is just a car accident waiting to happen. So then eventually, a passerby came by. I got their attention, and I felt ridiculous asking this. And it probably could have been handled a whole different way. But at that moment, I was just desperate to get home. It was hot. My car was running. My car is prone to overheating when it is sitting still. And I just thought, you know, I see this lady, and I'm like, hey, can I have some help, please? And she sort of looked at me, asked, what? And just sort of did her business, but then came over to me and asked, you know, I'm sorry, what did you ask for? And then I told her, there's a giant horsefly in my car, and I can't seem to get it out. And I could just, I mean, it's definitely absurd, but the funniest part is seeing her reaction. She's just kind of like, okay. And really, the only silly thing that was in the whole scenario that was playing out was me being terrified of this, let's be quite honest, like about an 1.25 inch size horsefly, which is about how big they get, but they're big, okay? You gotta understand, they're big compared to like wasps and bees, and I don't like them. I've been bitten before, and it was harrowing. So I open the door, it starts fluttering around, but then it just rests on the door hinge. So then the lady just sort of bends over, sort of flicks her hand a little bit, and then just flies out. Now, had I been brave enough, I could have used that strategy, but I was so terrified of this thing, this little but big thing, that I couldn't do it. Then, once again, I told her, I know it's probably really silly that I asked you to get rid of the horsefly, but thank you for doing so. And then I was able to leave. So that was a harrowing story, but it just gets better than that. So, come about 5 or 6 in the afternoon, my friend comes over, and he brings his big Dodge Ram pickup truck, which he says has a 3-inch lift kit. It's got 2 flags on the bed. There's an American flag and a Confederate flag, which I think just look really, really cool, as well as a Autobot logo above the Ram logo. I gotta show like a picture of it or something, because it's really cool. And I would love to drive it in the car series I got planned, if I can convince my friend to do it. But that's not the subject of the video. So he comes in, and he says, hey, do you want to do some running about with me? And I'm like, okay, I already did some running about myself, but I'm willing to do it. You know, just out with friends, having a good time. The first place we stop is actually at a Tractor Supply company. Nothing really happened there, other than a guy noticing his Back to the Future Part 2 Marty McFly hat, which I gotta admit was pretty cool. Then we went to the Goodwill that was right next door. Just sort of found some various knickknacks. I didn't buy anything, and he didn't either, but we just go there to sort of check it out, what's there and all that kind of stuff. Then we move on. We go to the Walmart, in which I found a few things that I debited. It was a Matchbox Jurassic Park car and a Hot Wheels Entertainment car, and I was pretty satisfied with them. Then we go to Pizza Hut. We get some pizza, all that kind of stuff, where he convinces me to have a cheese-stuffed crust pizza. I was hesitant. I am very reluctant to try new things, but for him, because of how persuasive he can be, I decided to give in and try it. It was alright. It wasn't very good, but it wasn't bad. And he's just like, oh, come on, or something like that. I can't quite remember. On the way home, now, he noted that the transmission had some tuning done to it, because it's had some transmission problems in the past. In fact, I believe a line blew, or something along the lines of that. So he had to do a bunch of reconfiguring and such, and he doesn't know how accurate his speedometer is. we come to this intersection. We come to sort of a slow down spot because there's a yellow blinking light. And for context, there is a parking lot and our old high school that we would have gone to. Then I notice he said, "Oh, I gotta stop," and I'm like, "What? Why? Why you gotta stop?" And he's pulling into the parking lot, and I'm just thinking, is he like gonna show me something else? And then he just says, "We're being pulled over." I just have this look of just, what? On my face, because I've never been involved in a situation like this before. I mean, I wasn't the one being pulled over, it was him, but I was, like, accompanying this event. So, apparently, he was speeding. Which kind of makes sense, because, you know, the transmission and the speedometer whole situation, it might not be configured correctly. I'm not going to say how fast he was going, as I figure that would be disrespectful. We did, however, this officer was so kind as to actually test out the car's speedometer. I mean, my friend's truck's speedometer, to see if it's accurate. So we go over into the parking lot, which, funny enough, with his Back to the Future hat on, I felt like I was in the Twin Pines Mall parking lot about to hit 88. Although we didn't do that. So he drives down toward the police car who has his radar gun out. And sure enough, 25 miles an hour going through the parking lot as sort of a test. And the speedometer was synced up to that as well, so that was accurate. For some strange reason, the thing gets out of sync when it's at higher speeds. And I don't know what's up with that. I mean, I know my dad's Mustang had a similar problem one time when I was younger. We were on a freeway and the speedometer would just go from 70 to like 100 and then like back to 80 and then back to 120, and yeah, that was a problem we had to fix. But I've never seen it happen with lower speeds. I mean, lower speeds as in like 25 miles an hour. But I guess it happened. So yeah, he got a ticket for it. I felt really sorry for him. All I could really do was just sit awkwardly in the passenger seat. Just sit there and say nothing and look completely calm. Although I wasn't exactly calm on the inside. Like I was sort of sweating here and there, kind of nervous. But eventually we got home without incident. So we just sat down, we gamed a bunch. He actually had the Crew 2, so he downloaded that and started playing it. I'm going to have to get that game for myself. We also watched Ready Player One, which is a very good movie, I must say. And other than that, we just sort of hung out for the rest of the very weird day. It wasn't a bad day. It wasn't particularly a good day. It was just very amusing, I gotta say. Well, I think that should just about do it for this video. I know it's not a whole lot to say, and most of it was just me rambling on about some experiences I had the past week, past day. But I decided to give you guys some context as to what was going on, all that kind of stuff. And maybe even amuse, if that's even possible. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will get back to uploading at some point, but the uploads are going to be a bit more sparse, as I'm going to be continuing my BeamNG series, and trying to figure out how to get the car series going. But yeah, other than that, I will see you all later.